Hey, welcome back. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining the channel. Today on the bench I have another tuner. This is a Telefunken T-1000 AM FM stereo tuner. Very nicely optioned out, and I love the wood cabinet it has. It has a beautiful wood cabinet. I think it needs a clean, possibly, and maybe an application of some oil, because it does look dry on the top. The sides look great, but the top looks kind of dry and needing some love. But it's got some really nice options for the tuner. It is, this being a Telefunken, this was manufactured in Japan, believe it or not. So this is another, came out of a Japanese factory. It says it right here in the back, made in Japan. Yes. So let's have a look at this and let's see what kind of features it has. So right on the left hand side we got a power button, which is stuck in the on position. Yeah, so we'll have to address that. Stuck on, has a power lamp, stereo lamp, has a variable output level, which is nice. We have in the middle, we have 2 meters, signal strength, and a center tuning meter, but it looks like the signal strength meter is stuck. Should be at 0, but it's stuck, so we might have to do repair on that meter. We have a multiplex filter. I'm really not sure what they're doing here. This could be like a blend filter where they blend the high frequencies in the left and right channel when it's in stereo to reduce hiss and noise. FM muting button on and off. On the right hand side we have a function switch, AM, auto FM, which is be your stereo, FM mono, and then a record level check. This is a unique thing. I think that might be outputting a tone at a specific level for doing a recording check. I'm not sure about that. I don't have a manual for this. I don't have any schematics or documentation. And then it's got a tuning knob, which is quite stiff, and I think it would benefit from lubrication. And lamps for AM and FM. And that's it on the front. But all right, on the back we have a 75 ohm input for the FM, and then we have a 300 ohm input. I don't know why they separate them like that, and they have a ground in between. This red one would be our AM antenna, a long wire. It does have a bar antenna already built in, so this would be for a long wire antenna. So lots of options for antennas. This bar antenna, I just noticed it now, is smashed and is being held on with twist ties. Get rid of the power cord. And this is tied to this, but this area is all smashed. I don't know if I can do anything for this. I'm going to think about a solution for this maybe. I'm not sure. Might have to just leave it the way it is and admit defeat. It has FM multipath outputs, so you got horizontal and vertical. This is for hooking up an oscilloscope to these outputs, and you can get your multipath signal. It has a 4-channel multiplex output here too. I think it's the horizontal. Fixed output for left and right, and then we have our variable output for left and right, controlled by the front knob. We have a replaceable fuse. It says 700 milliamps on it, so let's have a look. And it's correct, 0.7 amps. And then we have a courtesy outlet, which is rated at 200 watts. So this would not be fused or switched. And then we have our Sound Equipment Manufacturers Limited, Don Mills, Ontario. It's unusual that it's branded for Canada only. I don't know if these are sold. Well, obviously this one was sold in North America, and if it's branded for Ontario, but I don't know if they were sold in the States. I'm not sure on this. I don't know anything about these tuners. This is a rare beast for my bench. Alright, let's have a look inside. It looks like all the pieces are here. Just a matter of getting the puzzle back together again and re-gluing. I'm going to try re-gluing this. I don't have much faith in gluing, though. That's why I was really hesitant on saying anything about fixing this, but we'll try gluing it and hope for the best. Okay, you remove the 4 feet and one more screw, and then the entire chassis slides out of that wooden case. This thing looks like it's got a very nice case. A very nicely built tuner here. Power supply section, we got a fuse block here. I don't know why they have it on two separate boards. Cute little transformer. And then we have our, which looks like our multiplex board here. I'm not sure what this is back here. This could be our AM. I'm not sure what this is at all. Well, this could be, looks like an amplifier because it's split in half, and then it's got two identical circuits here. So this should be amplifiers of some kind. Here's our tuning capacitor. This funky board for the lighting, which has all these holes and traces for additional components. I'm not sure what they're doing here, but this looks like it could be expanded to do some more. Let's have a look at it underneath. And we got a bottom plate to remove. All right, bottom plate. Very nicely constructed. It's got a really nice build quality to it. Like they took some time and some care to make sure that these cables were nicely dressed. I like that. Very nice. This is not a cheap tuner. This was built to perform. So a lot of dust and dirt. That's expected for a tuner that's approaching 50 years old now. Now the one complaint the owner did have of it is one channel or the other would cut out, and I think it's probably this switch here is dirty. We'll have to make sure all these switches are working good, and we'll have to deal with this power switch. Does not want to unlatch. And then I'm looking here, we've got Mashishita caps, these purple ones, and then we have the blue Rubicons, and we'll do a test to see how healthy they are. I don't expect them to be very good at all. Let's give it a quick test right now. What is this? 4.7 at 25 volts. It's 4.5, actually. It's pretty good. Let's try another one. This one's a Rubicon 1 microfarad. Oh, I can't get that one. There's a 220 nanofarad. 251 nanofarad. Fully expect to go through and do all the caps, considering their age. What have we got here? I think it's 1976 vintage. We got two chips here. Got an LA3350 and an HA1137, and they're both date coded 1976. So that's what I expect to have as our build date, somewhere around that area. Oh, there's another chip here. It's an HA1151. This one would be our AM chip here, surrounded by AM IF cans. Yeah, very interesting. Let's I haven't tried it yet. Let's plug it in and try it out. Alright, amp is on, and let's try this out. Power. We are on AM. We have two lamps on, one lamp out.
सवाल का जवाब देता है कनाडा is a complicated country to work with.
It is not a complicated country.
Is that English?
I think there is a section.
Quite a dirty tuning capacitor.
Read and
So to get to 87th Avenue.
So the tuning meter is not working.
Or maybe a real good cup of coffee. Or maybe you're
Alright,
saying
AM. Let's go over FM. FM is working. Not getting any stereo yet. That is a very, very weak station. That shouldn't be picking up right now. Unless that scale is off.
Oui, j'étais très étonné.
Yeah, maybe the scale is off, yes. Scale's off quite a bit.
À beaucoup de monde.
You can tell our discriminator is way off center. Let's try this tone. That's weird. Okay, I guess that's supposed to do that. Get a pulsing tone. Dirty controls. Still not getting stereo. Okay, let's go to the strongest station here. Where is it? Is the tuning dial that far out? Yeah, I think this really badly needs an alignment, because this station should actually be about showing about 2 megahertz out. Same on this end. This is out by more than 1 megahertz, so it's really out of whack, the alignment. And yeah, the discriminator is out. The tuning signal meter is not working properly. It is budging with a signal, but it's not. It's stuck or something. You can see it's stuck. I saw it move. Muting circuit seems to be working. Working okay. So, looks like we have a little bit of work ahead of us. Mostly alignment. I'm going to do recaps on this. I think the caps are pretty tired. I think it would benefit from a new set of caps. And it definitely needs alignment and a cleaning. We'll have to clean the tuning capacitor. Getting any heat here? Not really. I didn't pay attention to how much power it's drawing. So even with one lamp burned out, we're still at around 13 watts, which is okay. It's not overly high. And what else we got? Stereo lamp is out, or the multiplexer is not working. Clean controls, lubricate. Yeah, we got a lot of work here. Cleaning. Okay, just finished with the recapping. I gotta tell you, that was necessary. I'll discuss what I found at the end of the video. But right now I'm focusing my attention on the stereo lamp, and I don't think I have any continuity on this lamp. So the lamp comes out here, these two yellow wires, okay, and they go up and they terminate on this board. So let's check these two yellow wires, and got nothing. No resistance. Well, it's open circuit. Now there's a green wire out of the back of this termination. There's a red wire and a green wire, and they go up to this board. Now the red wire, can't see, the red wire comes up around and connects here. This, I think, is the B plus supply for the tuner board. I haven't confirmed that though, but the red wires come from, there's a red wire that comes from the power supply. And the green wire goes to this terminal here, which is this one. And then it's in series with this 100 ohm resistor. Okay, and then it goes into this LA3350 on pin, what is that? Pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pin 6. So I think that's open collector transistor here on the output, and what they're doing is when they want the stereo lamp to go on, they just ground, the transistor turns on and grounds this line, but the bulb is open. This 100 ohm resistor is good. We can check that. Measuring 100.9, so everything's good there. So I just need to pull out this not LED, this, actually I could put an LED in here. Pull out this bulb. Ooh. And we have our bulb here. Come on. Alright. Hooked on stuff. Look at the filament. Yeah, it's completely open. Now I don't know what voltage this is. We want orange for our lamp color. Orange for our lamp color. I think I might do a LED retrofit on this. All I need to do is figure out what my supply voltage is. And if this is going to ground it, I just need to change this resistor to limit the current to about 5 milliamps. And that will light up the LED. I think I might do that. Okay, so let's see here. I think next step is just power this thing up and test what the voltage is. Let's do that now. Alright, going live. What do we got? 13.2 volts. That's what's coming out of our power supply. Very good. Okay, so I got an LED, yellow LED, orange, whatever you want to call it. It's clear. Probably might have to frost the tip of it because it's kind of directional. And I did the calculations, 13.2 volts minus the 0.6 volt drop inside the chip. That puts us at 12.6 volts minus the 2.0 volt drop for the LED. Calculated out for 5 milliamps. I need 2200 ohm resistor. Okay, so I'm going to replace this 100 ohm with this 2200, and then I'm going to tack this LED on the leads here and just cut the bulb off. Now you got to get your polarity correct, so I'm just going to check here. Let's see, the red wires are positive, so come on. How come it's not connecting? Okay, so that's our ground wire. This is our positive. Okay, so we connect the positive of the LED to this. Now, if you don't know how to check an LED, just grab yourself a coin cell and touch to the leads. The back of the coin cell is positive, it's marked. So you know which lead is positive, right? And that's a quick way to tell. So this one's positive. I forgot which one was the red is this one. That one. So we'll solder this up. Okay. We'll solder up the other side. I pre-tinned these. So all you got to do is just stick it together with the iron. This is where you need three hands. Okay, stuck now. And don't forget to put your heat shrink on before. I'll shrink this on. Alright, heat shrunk that on there, so it's all insulated nice. And that is ready to go back in. So I can put that now. It's pretty much the same diameter as the bulb I pulled out. Except it might be a little bit loose. I don't know. So I'm just going to shove it in the hole. Where is it? There it is. And if it doesn't want to stay in, just give it a little bit of hot snot glue. So push it in. There we go. So that's in there. Now I need to replace that resistor before I turn it on, otherwise I'll blow that LED up. So where are we? Right here. You can tell that resistor was getting hot. There's a heat stain around it. But we're going to eliminate all that with this resistor. It's going to run on low current, low heat. And it's going to last indefinitely. Alright. Okay. Retrofit done. Let's try it out. Don't know if we'll get a stereo signal. We might have to go through the band. Okay. Oh, there we go. Getting your stereo lamp. It's not the same color. It's a little bit off color. Just going to center that. But it's working. Okay. Next up I want to tackle this power switch. It's sticking in. So you can see it doesn't unlatch. I think it could be either the front panel's misaligned and it's got excessive friction, or the switch itself might be defective. We can change the switch if we have to. Let's pull this off. What it's holding here. There we go. Alright, so this will be good for cleaning. Yeah, it's the switch itself. I don't like it when switches do this, and then you can repair it with just relubricating it with some light grease, but then there's no guarantee that it's going to last. The repair is not going to last, so let's try taking this out. We've also got to deal with that meter. And we have a burned out lamp too. So let's take this. We got spacers in here. You're going to remember we got brass spacers. Looks like about 6 mil or 1/4 inch. unplugged. Yes, it is. Okay, so here's a look at the switch. Whatever's causing it to stick. It's got a lot of friction here. Let's try lubricating it first. So I just got synthetic grease. Let's jab a little bit in the hole here. And then let's lubricate this back slide part here. And maybe a little bit in the middle. Looks like it has trouble coming out. You know what? I think I'm just going to replace it with a new switch, because this is not behaving. You can give it try some more, but I don't think so. Let's try the sides as well. Is this broken? No. No. I'm going to replace it. Okay, I got a new power switch installed. I also put in a 4700 picofarad snubbing capacitor across the contacts, so that one's gone, and we can put this one back together. And then we move on to something else. I think we have a few other issues with the tuner that we're going to get to very quick here. Put this in. I hate these spacers, sometimes they're a pain. But looks like it's cooperating with me today. Next on the list is this meter, which is stuck. It's not returning to zero. Now typically what happens is, for whatever reason, the bearings on these go tight. You got to appreciate how these are constructed. Let me open it up and then maybe I can show you better. I don't know if I can. They're pretty tiny and delicate, so you got to be careful with everything you do here. Remove the sellotape from the back. It's just held together with sellotape, typically. And that covers the access hole for the adjustment too. So throw this away, we don't need it. And usually you can just do this. Get rid of this sellotape. Keep your fingerprints off this, inside and out. And what is going on here? Yeah, it's definitely a stuck bearing. I think the first thing to do ever is check for continuity on the coil, just to make sure we don't have a dead meter. I don't think we would, but you never know. So let's see here. Should be about I'm going to guess 600 ohms, 1000 ohms. 615, wasn't too far off. It's probably like a 1 milliamp meter. It says Project 1 in the bottom corner there. Doesn't have any date codes, doesn't have any part numbers. But typically these are about 1 milliamp full scale deflection. So how these are constructed is we have a magnet inside. It's that circular magnet there. And it's like a cylinder. And then they have the coil wrapped around an armature. And very fine wire. Very, very tiny, thin wires wrapped around. That's why we got 600 ohms. There's many wraps. And that's all mounted on this. It's a solid shaft with needle ends, and then they have these two bearings, one on this side, one on the back side. And these two bearings provide a very low friction, but obviously the friction here is not low enough. So to repair this, what we do is I don't know if you can see, there's a screw, there's an adjustment screw. It's covered with green paint. That's a thread locker. And then there's a slotted screw, and that's the adjustment for the bearing. So we need a screwdriver. It looks like we need about a 1.5 millimeter screwdriver, a very fine one. Get your best one you got. Go in there and just back that screw off a bit. If it'll turn. The thread locker might really bugger you up. Okay. It's not turning. The thread locker is really tight. So the screw's turning. You can see the needle moving. So I'm backing off that screw. I got it to turn a little bit. Still tight. So we're going to keep going. Now, if the screw won't turn, put some heat on it. Let me try. Some heat on this. Just going to use a hot iron. We're just going to heat up this bearing. The heat will soften up the thread locker. But it also could screw up your calibration. So let's just warm this up. See, it's starting to loosen up. Okay. Let's give it a bit more of a turn. Oh, it's very loose now. Seems like this front bearing is sticky. There. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish, is loosen off this bearing enough so that the needle's free. And we just want to tighten it up just a little bit. We don't want it too loose. That's too tight. Okay, I'll back it off a bit. Right at this point. And it returns to 0, that's good. If it didn't return to 0, this lever here on the side, you push this up or down to raise or lower it. Just demonstrate here. Just going to push it up a bit. See how it's off 0 now? And push it back down. And we're back on 0. So this adjustment here is your zeroing. And then this is your bearing. Okay. So we were done. It's working. Alright. Blow out any dust and then put the lid back on. Sellotape to close it up. Alright, next up I'm going to tackle lighting. So the way the lighting in this works is we have 3 incandescent lamps. And they fit in these areas here. And this is a light pipe. So the lamp is situated so it's in the center of this light pipe. Light radiates out and flows through this light pipe. And then they have a frosted area here. It's hard to see. And then they have a strip of white paper here. So the strip of white paper reflects the light down and so does the frosted. It glows. Let's just put it that way. Problem with this is the incandescent bulbs are cooking the plastic. You can see the plastic's kind of melted, especially on this middle one. It's melted and it's turning it yellow with from the heat. Another problem we got is these bulb holders are disintegrating from the heat. You can see the tab is broken off here. It's just crumbling. It's just deteriorating. And this one doesn't want to stick in. Here, you can take a look at that. You see the two tabs, how they're folding up from the heat. So this is not a good system. It was probably a good system when it was built, but after 50 years it's not working. So, I'm going to eliminate the incandescent bulbs. We're going to stick with the light pipe. I have an idea what we're going to do. I've got lots of beef on the back of this. It's about 7 millimeters thick. I'm going to drill some 3 millimeter holes in the back of this, and I'm just going to epoxy in a warm white LED, and that should provide light that spreads through the light pipe and illuminates the dial face evenly. So these are warm white 3 mil, and like I said, I'm going to drill 3 mil holes. I'm thinking of using 3 LEDs in series. I can tap into the 13.2 volt supply, a DC supply, and we can use that to power the lamps, the LEDs. And I think if I put 3 LEDs in series, that puts us up around 9 volts or 10 volts, just to overcome the diode drops. And then from there we can use a dropping resistor to set the current. We can set the current as high or low as we want, depending on how brightness is, and we'll figure that out later. So I think I'm going to do that and eliminate this. Okay, just running a test here on one of these LEDs, and just to see, my power supply says it has 11 milliamps going through, but I don't believe that because it's a 1000 ohm resistor. If I measure across it, we're getting 7.3 milliamps, and our voltage drop across the diode is 2.65, so a little lower than what I expected. So I could run 4 LEDs in series. That'll put me around 10 volts for the voltage drops, 10.4 volts. And that still gives me room to put in a dropping out resistor, current limiting resistor, just to bump the current down. I was thinking 5 milliamps, but it might be too dim, so I bumped up the current, a little more. The problem with running LEDs in string in series is if one fails, they all fail. That's why I don't try to get away from, but I think in this case it's better to do it that way. Let's try with a little higher voltage. What do we got here now? Probably about 8 milliamps. .5 still. And here's where I drilled a hole right on the edge. So this will eliminate the plastic. Let's turn this off. Let's see. Now, you probably, oh, it's not very even. Well, we're going to put 4 more LEDs, or 3 more LEDs in series here. So it will light up fairly even. I think it's going to be just right. And we can always turn the current up and down on these LEDs. If it's too bright, I can turn it down. If it's not enough, I can add maybe an LED and turn it up. We'll work around it. Okay, here it is. Tried to make it inconspicuous as possible. Got my ground on this side. LED, wire runs along, LED, wire runs along, LED, wire runs along, LED, and then the red positive wire. Red positive wire comes, I use this unused portion of the circuit board for my resistor, my dropping resistor, and then the red wire goes to B+. This trace here, I ohmed it out and it was connected to chassis ground, so I use that as my negative connection. And let's have a look. Switching on. Now you probably can't see very good because of the, but it does light it up pretty nice. Let's see if I can There's the front panel. I think it's going to work if, well, it's hard to tell. It's pretty bright in this room, but it's not overly bright. I got the current set to 5 milliamps, so it's probably just good enough. And I think it's going to do all right. All right, next up, clean the switches, clean the pot. It was kind of scratchy when I was testing this. He said one channel cut out, and I think it's this switch here. So we'll clean all that. We'll make sure it's good. I have to lubricate the dial string and everything else, and then I can move on to an alignment. So I was just watching a video from another channel, Fix It, one of my favorite channels, and he was working on SX650 Pioneer. He did the power wash on it and all that. And I was watching that video and I had a revelation, an interesting one at that. I realized that this dial scale, these meters, this layout is all Pioneer. If you look at the photographs, it has the same font, it has the same dial scale, has the same layout. So I went looking for different tuners, Pioneer tuners, and the closest one I could find was the TX9500, I think it is called. And essentially the same tuner. It's arranged a little different. It has the same features, the same controls, even has the same tone generator built into it. But then I looked inside on the circuitry. It has different layout, different boards. So I think this was built in a Pioneer factory, to tell you the truth. And I think they just rebadged it Telefunken. But Telefunken probably contracted this out and had Pioneer build it for them, which is interesting. I didn't think they would do that kind of stuff, but they do, I guess. Anyways, enough of that. I'm going to do an AM/FM alignment on this. Start with the AM, work my way through. Dial scale accuracy was really far out, and I want to make sure everything's 100% before we give it back. And it definitely does need an alignment. So I'm going to get started. I'm not going to film any of it. It's pretty boring, and plus I don't have any documentation, so I'm just going to fumble my way through it. I'll do the AM first, and then I'll work on the FM, and I'll just try and bring it in better than what it is now. So I'm not going to follow any procedures. I'm just going to go through and tweak some adjustments here and there. Bring it back in when it's done. Okay, just finished doing an alignment, AM/FM alignment. AM was pretty much spot on. I didn't need to tweak anything with AM. It was pretty good. FM, on the other hand, like I said, the dial scale accuracy was way out, and I had to go back and forth about 6 or 7 times before I finally got that dialed in. 2 problems, and I'm not happy with this alignment right now. One problem is the meter is still stuck. I didn't back it off enough, so I'm going to have to pull that meter out again and give it another quarter tweak on that set screw to get that movement to free up, because it's not, see, it's stuck. The other problem is this discriminator coil. You got to appreciate how it's constructed. It's got windings in it. It's like a transformer. And then it's got 2 cores, 1 core on top, 1 core on the bottom. Now there's no hole on the underside of the printed circuit board, so I can't feed my tool from below. I have to feed my tool from above through the first core, drop it past the first core, and go into the second core to adjust it. And I can get the tool in there and I can adjust it, but I can't pull the tool out after because the top core is blocking me. So I have to kind of offset the top core a bit, get my tool to go through, make my adjustments, and hopefully be able to pull my tool out again. But it's throwing the one or the other off, right? So what I think I might do is I might just drill a hole in the bottom of the board, and so I can access the bottom core with my tool without interfering with the top core. I think that I might just do that, because I did get it improved, but it's not bang on. These adjustments are very sensitive and very fiddly, so you want to get it right. And this is the reason why, because they're so sensitive and fiddly. That's why they go drift out of alignment over time. So I think I might just pull the bottom off and drill a hole right in the center of this transformer, just big enough hole that I can get my tool in and get that bottom core spinning. Well, looky here, there is a hole. It was just covered over with solder. Okay, so I don't have to drill a hole. How did they manage to align this at the factory with that blocked off? That's what I want to know. Maybe that's why it was so far out. Alright, so I glued, in 2 steps, I glued this back together with 2-part epoxy, all the pieces. But I don't trust 2-part epoxy on certain plastics. It doesn't really hold well, doesn't stick well, and sometimes it just falls apart, especially if the plastic is flexible. Epoxies, when they harden, they can get very rigid and brittle, but plastics are quite flexible. So what I did is I wrapped it with a 50-pound test. This is the same stuff I use for dial cords, and I tried to keep it neat, and then I encased it in UV cure epoxy, and that's going to hold that together. That's going to be a band around there that's going to have a lot of strength. So now I think we can just put this back together now. Remember how this goes. It goes like this, and then plug that into the back. I have to get the wires going the right way too, and then yeah, we're back in business. These white rubber blocks here look very Pioneer-like. I've seen those before. I gotta tell you, I really think this is a Pioneer in disguise. But I still have to just resolder this meter. I forgot to solder it back in, so let's do that right now. And then I can close this up. I had taken the meter out a second time to give it a further adjustment. Okay. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the original lamps and I'm going to put them in a bag. And I'm going to secure them inside the bottom here. So just in case the original owner or the current owner or any future owner wants to revert back to the incandescents, they have the lamp holders. Even though the lamp holders aren't in good shape, they're pretty rotten with heat and they're falling apart. So I'm just going to zip tie these in here and then close this bottom up, because I think I'm done for now. I've done all the alignments. All we need to do now is run a dial sweep and a test. We fight with this off camera. There we go, all zip tied to the wire harness. It's not going anywhere, it's not going to rattle around. And the parts are there, so I'm just going to put the bottom cover on now. And then close this up. Okay, I'm going to clean the top surface. It looks quite dirty, especially on the side pieces. I'm just going to use glass cleaner. Let's see what we can pick off this. I don't think this is probably the right cleaner. But if you guys have any suggestions on how to clean the wood tops, put the comments down below. This is picking up. Not bad. Got this nice Sansui-like saw cut ventilation on top here. Just gonna give a little bit of that here too. Okay, I think we're good. You can see it was pretty dirty. I'll let this dry in the sun for a bit. And then I'm going to hit it up with some Danish oil. Reason being, there's this area right here where the finish is kind of, probably can't see it from your angle. Let me move you. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but right here is the finish is kind of faded off. And then there's a scratch here, so let's give it a small amount. Just work it in. It's mostly the top that needs it. Oh yeah, look at it glow now. It's going to stink too, so I'll leave it out in the sun. Make those scratches disappear. This old Pioneer deserves it, eh? Oops, I should say Telefunken. Okay. Gonna buff it with a clean cloth now. And I'll just let that sit in the sun. Alright, so we're back together, hopefully for the last time. And I really am pleased with how this wooden case turned out. It is looking spectacular. Yeah, like I said. So let's do a band sweep of the FM. And what I'm going to do is connect it to the camera so you can hear it this time. And let's go through and do that. And then we'll wrap this up.
Claude, Radio-Canada, Vancouver.
Et on termine.
For the come up, not for the TL. Got the whole place booming like it's on the metapias.
Don't get it because it was literally out of nowhere. I was minding my own business and this just.
We're going to make that Cindy Lee and Daniel Romano. And this...
If you're looking to get your little boy or little gal active in some sports multi...
Cause I know I can treat you better.
Tequila, she talks dirty in Spanish, baby.
I would love to support your camping addiction, Robert. This weekend, where you guys are?
ਅਗਰ ਡੇ ਹੋਮ ਅਤੇ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਹੋਮ ਦੀ ਖਾਸ ਸੁਵਿਧਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਣੇ
before 9 o'clock. It's 8 before 10 o'clock. We're doing it?
Oh. Hang on. Okay, yeah.
For Canada.
No, I don't cheer for Canada. It's a regional thing when it comes to...
My partner had, he had his two brothers. That's all we really did.
Yeah.
Then delete, I control them.
Alright, so I got a scope connected to the multiplex output. We're going to have a look at what it does. You can see it on your screen. Let's scan to the band again quick. It's quite a weak station there, a lot of noise. Mono station.
Arrested on board a flotilla on its way to Gaza.
I have directed my officials to... Don't you
I need 2-5.
Could use it as a tuning indicator. It's more for antenna adjustment.
Patients with less pressing to health weights. More details on
What you'd want to do is you'd want to adjust your antenna so that you get the cleanest signal on your scope. So like this one has a multipath, you can see two signals coming in.
K97.
Kinetic conductivity
magnetic radiometry, and a relatively new technology called soil spectroscopy. Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation said they are applying for funding to...
It was a nice clean station, good signal. My scope is wigging out. And some DC offset on my scope. I think it's time for an overhaul on that scope.
ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਲੜਨਗੇ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਦੇ ਨੇਤਾ ਨਹੀਦ ਨੈਂਸ਼ੀ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਉੱਤੇ
can't believe those alarms went. That's insane. It was a cool alarm too. None of us knew what the alarm was going to sound like.
Another good station. You can see they all don't come in the same depending on how the antenna is orientated. It is quite a bad one. Getting a double signal coming in. Nice clean one.
Well, right back. Actually, Nurse D was on and told us about that.
Yeah, it was one of the... North American Rail Network. It's pledged $100 million over 10 years.
So you get the idea. It's more of an indicator of signal integrity, I guess. Not only signal strength, but you get your signal meter for that, signal strength, but your integrity of your signal. If you're getting multipath, if you're getting multiple signals, reflections coming in to your antenna, you're going to get a messed up image on your scope. All right, here's a look at the parts that went into it. Capacitors, all the capacitors. Roughly 25% of them failed. These are the failed ones. These ones are still good. I think I said these are Rubicons, but they are not. They're oops. They're actually Nichicons. How come they're not marked? I thought they were marked. Oh, this one is Nichicon. That's odd. No brand on that one. Anyways, they were Nichicons, and then the Mashishita caps. But these are the failed ones. Had a dead power switch that refuses to unlatch, a dead incandescent bulb, stereo lamp, and then I replaced two resistors. This one was a bodge on the back of the board. I removed and put a surface mount, and then this one was removed to do the LED retrofit, the stereo lamp. So that's all the parts that went into this. Alright, well that's it for this one. I'm going to wrap this one up. It's a beautiful tuner. I'm really impressed with its performance. And after the alignment, it really came in nice. And it polished up nice. The wood case, I'm really pleased with how that turned out. It was kind of dry looking and pretty tired. And then I gave it that coat and it really brightened it up. It really made the wood grain pop. And you can see the ripples are kind of iridescent in the finish. Ripples in the wood grain, but it's a really nice tuner. I like it. I'm going to send it back to the owner. Hope he likes it too. So take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.